ready because we are gonna scare the crap out of you.
I peed a little in my pants.
Oh my God.
Join us as we celebrate the best in horror from the new millennium and count down the scariest 13 movies of the decade. The moments that captivate, terrify, and entertain like nothing else. It's Chiller 13, the decade's scariest movie moments.
We've had such a great decade for horror.
In the past decade, horror movies have become increasingly more popular.
I think horror movies have become more mainstream, more accepted.
Horror over the last decade has gotten a lot smarter and a lot more sophisticated. And so is the audience.
It's not just for teenage boys anymore. It's for grown-ups, it's for couples, it's for women.
People say, when is Hollywood going to stop doing horror films? They're not. Horror movies make us feel alive.
I'm convinced is the adrenaline rush.
Just a roller coaster ride of horror.
It was an original horror movie by one of the most popular horror movie guys.
I thought it was one of the best movies that was released last year.
The strangest, oddest movie. I can't tell if it's supposed to be funny or if it's supposed to be serious.
Number 13.
Drag Me to Hell is just all sorts of fun.
Drag Me to Hell is fun because it's the Sam Raimi that all of us grew up on, like all of us horror geeks.
It's about a bank teller who wants a promotion.
It starts when this old gypsy woman walks into the bank to ask for an extension on her mortgage. And this woman is strange.
Strange, you mean hideous. Completely horribly hideous.
Yes, she is the ugliest woman I've ever seen.
So when Christine, the bank girl, refuses, the old woman gets on her knees and begs,
You shamed me.
You shamed me. You shamed me.
So what does the old gypsy woman do? Of course, she puts a curse on the girl. After what happened to the old woman, you kind of want that girl to get a curse on her. You're like, yeah.
So after work, Christine goes down into the garage, and it's really creepy because she sees this old lady's car.
And it's a wonderfully set up shot.
she's sitting in her car, and this handkerchief goes floating by, and she's looking at it, and then all of a sudden, the old lady's in the backseat of her car.
Where she's just coming out of the darkness.
And then there's like the grossest fight you've ever seen. It's like this young girl and this hideous old woman.
In this little tiny car with staplers and, whatever else that they can find.
The staples in the eye, and then she comes forward and she hits her face on the dashboard, and the teeth come out. And we had puppet heads for each of those. There was a puppet head that smashed into the dashboard. Then we built another puppet that had teeth that we could remove. So when it grabs Allison and starts sucking on her chin, we literally filled the entire mouth of the puppet with KY and Ultra Slime. And then on action, we just puppeteered the head so that it could latch on and go and sort of slurp around on her chin.
Every time it actually gets scary, it turns around and throws a curveball at you.
The comedy actually serves to sort of release you. Otherwise, you'd have a heart attack halfway through that thing.
The movie just has like so many wonderful moments.
Everything goes in the lead actress's mouth.
The girl keeps opening her mouth and letting all of these objects in.
One of the most intense scenes is when Christine is in bed.
And she wakes up.
And the old woman's corpse is laying next to her. Creeped me out, okay?
Struggling and they're fighting, and as Sam and I were talking about the scene, I just had this weird idea, and I said, she should vomit worms all over her face. And he said, no. Oh yeah, we have to do that. So it wasn't worms, it was coffee grounds and different colors of kinds of pasta and all this different stuff. And we mixed it all with a little bit of slime, so it looked like this horrible, rotting pile of worms. It was the most revolting, ridiculous thing that I've ever seen.
Where other movies rely on blood and guts, this movie is almost entirely green goo and slime.
People like to see these kind of gross things in movies.
But I'll tell you, every one of those mouth moments made me go, ugh!
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Yeah, it was
I'm
bad.
like, I don't want that.
Later, Christine runs up to her room, and this demon is following her.
You see the hoofs just, and then you see the shadow reach out underneath the door. And then once it gets close to her, before you know it, she's up in the air and she's being thrown around.
He knows a jump scare, he knows how to do it with editing and sound effects editing in just like such a specific way.
You hear it in the back of the theater. You hear it over here, you hear it over there. This big loud booms that make the audience jump. You have this poor girl getting thrown around. I mean, Bruce Campbell always got abused in the Evil Dead movies. She was like Bruce Campbell, you know? This is like Evil Dead 4 for us.
And the movie takes you on this journey because you keep thinking she's going to get away with it. She's going to rescue herself. She's going to figure out a way out of it because that's what you expect in those horror movies. What makes Drag Me to Hell unique and special is that at the end, there's that twist ending where what you expect, spoiler alert, she doesn't get out of it.
I think at one point you kind of want her to win. Like by the end of it, I was like, okay, she won. I kind of started to like her after a while. That's fine. But then when she actually dies at the end, you're like, all right, never mind. That was freaking awesome.
This movie was the scariest one for me.
It is like one of the most simple movies, but still so terrifying.
It set up kind of the scary stuff very subtly and in very realistic ways.
That film was just insane.
Number 12.
It's frightening. It's a frightening movie, and it's so simple.
I thought was definitely one of the best, studio horror films of the decade.
This movie starts out with this couple going to this summer house, and it turns out he had proposed to her earlier in the evening, and she kind of said she wasn't ready.
It's really awkward with the two of them cooped up together because they have no idea where their relationship is going.
Yeah, I don't know either.
The Strangers is essentially just two people alone in a house and knock knock, there's some freaky people trying to get in.
That's scary. I thought The Strangers was really scary.
It just starts off so innocently. It's in the middle of the night. The knock at the door.
And you don't know who it is. They're not particularly scary. There's nothing about the situation that's telling you how to feel.
A strange woman asking if someone's there.
No. Are you sure? That little twist is so creepy.
She just writes it off as maybe you're at the wrong house.
The scene where Liv Tyler's standing in the kitchen and the guy just kind of walks in out of the shadows and they don't acknowledge it, that's one of the best scenes in recent years, I think.
There's nothing scarier than having an intruder in your house, especially if you don't even know it.
Almost anybody who has seen the movie The Strangers will tell you this. One of the scariest moments is when Liv Tyler's in the kitchen, she's pouring a glass of water, and in the distance, you find the guy standing there with his mask, just standing there.
And you just see in the far background one of the strangers.
And he's quiet, he's quiet, he's just standing.
He's not running out there and stabbing her right away. He's just like, hey.
How about that?
I'm in your hallway.
I watched the audience in the theater. Everyone kind of discovered it at their own pace, which is really great. He didn't feel like he needed to tell you this was happening with a big scary sound or something. It was like you could just miss it. Like, get out of my head! He's right there!
What is really scary about that film is how much the villains are enjoying terrorizing these people.
That was the thing that kind of kept you on your toes with The Strangers. Who are they? What are they? What do they want? They don't talk.
Not only do you not know who or why these people are operating, you never see their faces.
It's a great way to sustain that suspense.
So she runs to the bedroom and there's all this crashing noise like someone's breaking in.
She's on the floor.
And she screams,
Go away! Go away! Go away!
It scared the out of me when I saw it.
This one gave me nightmares.
I think I peed a little in my pants.
And then the biggest horror of them all.
The reason they give at the very end as to why they're killing.
Because you were home.
Because you were home.
Because you were home.
Good, let's move on. I mean, it's just like can happen.
Like, what do you want to do tonight?
Let's go to that house and kill him with a knife. Quietly.
Yeah, which is like, there was no reason.
Nihilistic. It's just because we're horrible people and we want to kill you.
It's fantasy to think that we live in a world where you could go to sleep at night and leave your door unlocked and expect that you can go through your whole life and nobody's ever gonna walk in there.
That's horrifying. That is so scary.
That's scary.
Because who wants to be home?
Because sometimes I'm home.
Coming up next.
Death's design is that once you've been signaled and called to do something, you cannot unbreak that cycle.
Everyone tells me, oh my God, you scared the crap out of me.
When we return with Chiller 13.
If you're afraid to fly at all, don't watch that movie.
That whole opening sequence, which is awesome. Let's face it, it's really thrilling, it's exciting, it's terrifying. It plays on all of those phobias that you have about being confined, loss of control.
Number 11.
Final Destination kicks off with a class of the most annoying French students in the history of French class, all going on a plane trip together to France. And the main character gets a premonition that the plane is going to explode.
In his dream, he sees the plane blow up and everyone dies.
And it's a horribly grotesque scene. Everything's on fire and the fire is burning his face. And he's just like, ah!
And he has that crazy panic attack.
So he runs screaming from the plane and a few of his classmates follow him.
He goes with it.
Right, well, we wouldn't have a movie if he did it.
Then the plane takes off, and guess what? Big surprise, it blows up.
What, 40 some odd cast members? Whittled down to 5 or 6 within 10 minutes of the movie start?
Meanwhile, the two lead characters at that moment have seen all their best friends die, and they're next. And all they're trying to do is change the inevitability.
They go to the morgue and they encounter this morgue worker who basically tells them the plot of the movie, which is very helpful.
In the first film, he was pretty much the exposition character. So he was telling the kids, he was telling the audiences.
You can't change what's going to happen.
You couldn't find somebody to kind of deliver that impending threat as well as he does there.
He just says in the deepest, scariest voice possible.
Death's design is that once you've been signaled and called to do something, you cannot unbreak that cycle.
You can't cheat death.
You can't cheat death.
You can't do it. You can't get away from it. It will track you down.
You know everyone's gonna die because that's the point of the movie, is that you can't cheat death, and they told you that going in.
They were supposed to die in the plane crash. They got off the plane, and Death is pissed that he lost out on a couple of his victims, and now he's coming back for them.
I mean, how do you top Death as being the villain of a movie?
They say it's death. It's like the Reaper coming to get them. It's fate coming back to get them.
There's not a Freddy, there's not a Jason. It's this force, this supernatural force.
You think you've gotten away from death. You don't. Death stalks you and it hunts you down, and one by one, it gets you.
So then the movies become a series of events of how they meet their demise one by one.
Death really likes to have the most elaborate ways to kill people.
Death's kind of creative, and he's not just gonna stab you and be done with it. He's gonna, make you slip on a floor, and that's gonna send something flying. That's gonna knock something off the wall, and that's gonna impale you.
You had like the scary tension-filled moments, like the one in the bathroom, or like the one with the teacher in her house before it exploded.
This great scene is where the teacher gets it.
Good one. The teacher, who's all packed up, who lives by herself, by the way, in this gorgeous house on a teacher's salary? I don't think so.
She is in this just hilariously elaborate problem.
It's a Rube Goldberg
Rube
machine.
Goldberg, right? You know, with like mousetrap.
Tink,
One thing.
blink, dominoes.
That's pretty much what it was.
Big death. And then, oh, by the way, a chair.
That was almost like a Warner Brothers cartoon, but really violent.
That really played upon the audience's knowledge of horror movies and kind of flipped the script on them every time.
It was very well written. It was very smart. It was a different take on teenagers in peril.
It's smartly written and it's got a sense of humor about it. It's definitely of the roller coaster ride variety of horror film.
Yes, I think when you see a lot of good-looking high schoolers
Getting killed off one by one.
You gotta watch it.
This couple that already has 2 kids adopts another child because they lost a baby.
They adopt this 9-year-old girl named Esther, played by Isabel Fuhrman.
This is one of the creepiest movies of the decade.
Number 10.
Creepy kid movies, those are always scary.
Remember the poster? There's something wrong with Esther.
The Orphan is a creep fest.
Really, really solidly made and just designed to just creep the hell out of you, constantly.
One saw it with a bunch of friends and they were like, what's gonna happen now? And I'm like, I can't tell you. And they're like, please just tell me because I'm freaking out.
She was so powerful and so mind-controlling and conniving and evil.
She's completely manipulative.
A lot of people see Esther as a bad person, and she does misbehave a lot.
She pulls a gun on her younger deaf sister.
She freaks out the older brother in the family not to even talk about anything to anybody, and he knows that things are getting worse and worse and worse, so by the time he wants to do something about it, of course, you know, she lights his ass on fire in the treehouse.
Orphan has our little youngster killing a nun with a hammer 40 minutes into the movie.
That movie shocked the hell out of me.
The moment she kills the frickin' nun, you're just like, oh God, this is bad. This is gonna get worse. Because not only has she incited one of the kids from the family she's been adopted into, but she's actually killed somebody for the first time.
From that point on, you're kind of like, all right, this is not gonna be safe. This is a ballsy movie.
Everyone tells me, oh my God, you scared the crap out of me.
What scared me in that film was when the little girl came down with the makeup on and tried to seduce the husband.
Esther comes on to the dad. Who?
This little girl is hitting on her dad. And
she was going to town on Dad.
That was creepy. That just made my skin crawl.
And Dad was like, I don't really. And then for a moment he thought about it. He's like, maybe.
That's just messed up.
Come on, right? He was, and you were with him. Not that you would, because we would never. Gross.
Yuck. Oh my God.
The coolest thing about The Orphan is the twist at the end is so unexpected.
When her true identity is revealed,
when you see what she really looks like,
being a 33-year-old hormonally deficient grown woman,
we find out she's not a little girl, but a Russian midget. Cool.
There was like such a drastic switch. You could see it just in her facial expressions. It was just a complete shift from little girl to adult woman.
You see her with all these wrinkles and everything, and everyone's just like so surprised by that.
When she takes off all the makeup and the teeth and everything.
She has scars all over her neck and over her wrists and all these weird things that she covers up.
it was really a great makeup transformation and very, very simple.
Well, they did a brilliant job of making this child suddenly look like, you know, an older woman.
I don't think anyone saw that coming.
I did not see the twist coming.
I didn't see the ending coming with her at all on that. I was really fooled.
When they say, oh, she's an adult, people go, no.
The way that they built up on it, the subtle clues that were dropped all throughout the film, it's like it almost seemed completely logical that it happened, yet it still was surprising. I thought it was amazing because she was, you know, a young girl and she did it, and she captured the movements and the essence of a woman.
I had to have little quirks that kind of made people go, well, that's not something a kid does. A kid doesn't say that, a kid doesn't do that.
She was so scary, so freaky, even when this little girl gets to play the old person who she really is supposed to be in the film.
Throughout the entire film, I am actually playing an adult who's trying to pass herself off as a kid.
Kid playing a woman playing a kid.
She was phenomenal in that film.
She did such a good job as this weird, demented girl.
She was just so good and convincing at just being that crazy girl.
I thought Isabelle Fuhrman was awesome.
Well, thank you.
Coming up next.
It's scary as hell even before the monsters show up.
I had to watch this one with my hands literally over my eyes.
When we return with Chiller 13.
This movie's about this group of girls that go into these uncharted caves with no maps.
Ragtag bunch of girls spelunking. They go down spelunking. I think it's 5 of them, 5 or 6 of them. And hold on,
wait.
The earth starts shaking and you start to feel like, oh my God, is this woman gonna get crushed in here?
Number 9.
Descent has all the things you just love about it. It's isolation, confined spaces, darkness, and the unknown.
The Descent is probably my favorite horror movie of the past decade.
So in this movie, there's these 5 gals, and they go down into this cave to explore it.
You've got the heartbreak of the mom who just lost her entire family in a car crash. She's got all this baggage that she's gonna carry down with her.
On a trip with the woman who is having an affair with the husband.
And you've got a great recipe for horror.
So you find out that Juno was having an affair with Sarah's husband, and you don't find it out until you're in the cave.
So this girl, Juno, she cheats with her best friend's husband. There's all white girls and the Asian girl's the villain. Of course. She leads her friends down to this new uncharted cave.
The scariest part for me of the entire movie.
I know where he's going with it.
Was
I'm there. Yep.
at the beginning where she gets stuck.
They're crawling through that tiny little crawl space.
And she's just kind of having a panic attack and almost suffocating because she's underground, stuck between two really tiny rocks.
The claustrophobia was crazy.
You feel it.
That moment, I think, stands out to me as the scariest moment in the whole movie because you almost get short of breath watching it.
The claustrophobic setting of being trapped in a cave, that could be a horror movie on its own.
It brings in those kinds of natural sort of evolutionary fears that most human beings share.
And then look at these cave drawings here. We're down here, we're exploring. People are getting hurt. I got a broken ankle. We got to carry my friend.
And all of a sudden they come across these mutated creatures. Neil Marshall's like, well, yeah, but now I'm gonna throw monsters on top of everything else, you know?
Sarah, who has all this emotional trauma, is the first one to see the cave creatures.
What the hell is that? What is that?
The first time you catch a glimpse of one of those monsters, you're like, what the hell?
They lurk just outside of the line of sight, of your line of vision.
It's like all white in the middle of this pitch black space.
I think there's some realism to the fact that they came from a place that you can't really explore, so maybe there are kind of creatures like that out there.
If you told me that they existed, I'd believe you in a heartbeat.
And they come real close and they're like trying to see like this.
Like a lot of skin and veins, and they were almost naked and crawling around. Not that monsters go, shopping at the mall for clothes.
They weren't really monsters.
At some point, they were human. And, were driven underground.
They can't see because they're like bat people, right?
Nasty.
They'll basically eat anything, and it developed into a taste for flesh. They will come and snatch your friend from your hands. Seeing your friend dragged away like that, so close, seeing somebody dead and realizing what they're doing and eating them, she's in the cramped space and the creature's eating her friend. And these women are faced with this horrible situation, but they're also realizing that there's been deceit amongst themselves. The monsters aren't always the only bad guys.
She's in this pool of blood.
That is her lowest point. She is in the belly of the beast in a kind of Joseph Campbell-y way.
She goes through this rebirth process.
Dude, when she stands up and she's covered in blood, and she has that look in her eye like, oh,
nothing's gonna stop me.
It's on now.
She's done suffering. She's gonna fight from now on. So her own personal struggle and personal pain fades away, and then this huge strength comes out of her. And then she's just coming right out of it like she's being born again. And she's just ready to rock the show at that point.
And from then on, it's a fight up and out.
And then she climbs the freedom with blood all over her face.
A woman getting revenge, on her husband's mistress, but with cave monsters. So, lifetime plus horror equals The Descent.
There are a few things scarier, I think, than a large, wide metal tray of small metal instruments in a horror movie, brimming with the potential of all the different kinds of pain that's going to be inflicted.
So many possibilities on the table.
Yeah.
That's disgusting and scary.
Oh my God, I couldn't look.
Very much in your face, giving you this uncomfortable, brutal experience. Different. I like different.
Number 8.
I think Hostel really pushed this new wave of horror into the mainstream.
Hostel was an interesting movie because the concept was so cool.
Let's make this as simple as possible. All right, let's take horny guys, put them in Europe.
There's the cocky American, and there's the American that shows up in Europe thinking it's their own private Disneyland.
They can smoke a lot of pot, score with some good-looking girls.
Right.
Give them the option to find naked girls who are guaranteed going to score with them.
How you doing?
Yeah, these guys are gonna hook up with European supermodels. That should have been their first clue that something was gonna go wrong.
And then
butcher them. Oh, please stop! Done.
There are things in the underground that perhaps you should stay away from.
Then it goes, where is it, to Slotgania? Svajnashnia?
I think it's Svajnashnia.
But what we don't realize is that the girls are baiting them all in to have the worst deaths ever.
So these kids actually show up and they're served their due course of punishment, which is awesome.
They're just kind of these douchey guys at the beginning of the film, and it messes with your head a little bit because it's like, you know, they're human beings. I should be feeling sympathy for them.
In Europe, they're much more free about their human butchering.
And this is why I will never go to a hostel.
So these two guys, they get snatched up and they end up in this factory. It's actually a place where rich people pay to torture these idiot tourists.
You know, when the characters were tied down to those chairs, you as the audience were tied down to those chairs, and you had to sit through it just like they did. And that was very assaulting.
And they paid to do that to that person.
Disgusting. Oh my gosh, disgusting.
Is it effective? Yeah. People squirm? Yes.
I had to watch this one with my hands literally over my eyes.
Yeah, not an easy movie to watch, not exactly a fun movie. I mean, there were moments of levity and humor, but it was definitely the turning point where we stopped having these sort of fun, safe, PG-13 horror movies, and it was like, all right, horror's kind of back to where it used to be.
You know, that was a brutal picture. I have friends that are opposed to the so-called torture porn aspect of it.
To me, the idea of a torture porn is somebody literally not caring about any of that stuff, the talking, the dialogue, the plot, and just there to watch somebody get tortured. I would hope that there's nobody like that.
That desire to harm another person or kill another person for one's own enjoyment, for the thrill that a person gets out of it, that exists.
I've read a lot of true crime books in my life, and there are people like that out there.
What has our world come to that the value of human life is diminished so much? And that was what Hostel was all about.
Coming up next.
That is the greatest vampire movie ever.
It just scared the crap out of me.
When we return with Chiller 13.
This movie takes place in Barrow, Alaska, the northernmost part of Alaska.
In the early winter, the sun goes down and doesn't come back up for 30 days.
Number 7.
It's the perfect feeding ground for vampires.
Who now can invade this small town that's cut off from the rest of the world and not have to deal with sunlight for 30 days.
They could do whatever they wanted, like regular people.
Like 30 days a night. It happens and it's real, and why wouldn't vampires come into a town where they don't have to worry about running away before the sun starts to come up?
I think Steve Niles is a genius.
No way. No way.
I love the idea for 30 Days a Night.
It's a brilliant idea. Like, it's brilliant.
God, why didn't I think of that?
Oh my God. That is the greatest vampire movie ever.
This particular town is discovered by vampires.
Josh Hartnett plays Eben, the local sheriff.
He sets the town right, and then all the vampires come out.
There's nothing scarier to me than being in the middle of nowhere in the freezing cold and having creatures coming after you.
As soon as it gets dark, this movie takes off.
That's their feasting time. That's when they're running around.
The vampires just go wild. They take out and kill the entire town. Well, almost.
The movie then becomes a survival pick.
In 30 Days of Night, those were not traditional vampires.
They just wanted to eat people and feed and be scary.
So these vampires have these pointy teeth and they're like,
dressed in regular clothes, just loaded in blood with Sharpie teeth and Frito nails.
Yeah. Super strong, super fast, and very hungry.
30 Days of Night, those vampires are intense, so scary, so evil.
These are land sharks. They look at people the way we look at cans of beer.
They seem to be feasting on blood, but they're tearing their victims apart. It's not two little clean puncture marks and a couple of slips. They go to town.
They weren't even trying to live amongst us. It's just time to eat.
30 Days of Night was like what vampires used to be. They were monsters.
It's some weird satanic speech that they have that's really, really guttural, like the Klingons, but with a little more style.
Whatever the hell that was.
Yeah.
Was that a real language?
Of course it wasn't.
They had blood dripping down their face and their neck the entire film, like just once. Do that.
There's two types of vampires that are in now, the Twilight vampires, and then there's also some of the more extreme vampire movies like 30 Days of Night.
The vampires in like the Twilight series, you know, it's all about, oh, I'm moody looking and pretty and pale.
They weren't trying to make these vampires sex symbols in any way like you see in Twilight. They are just out to kill.
It's totally accidental that 30 Days of Night has become this sort of anti-Twilight.
Seems like 30 Days of Night was almost before its time.
There was always this kind of like Casanova vibe to vampires, kind of abandoned, and they really were just more like animals.
On some of the characters, they changed their facial features.
All the vampires except Danny Houston, their eyes are separated and raised, just to give them a slightly unnatural look.
They shrunk eyes, they widened them out. They changed their look in a very subtle way that made the faces very disturbing.
Some of the actors weren't too thrilled, you know, because it made them so freaky looking.
I think the scariest moment for me was when all of the villagers have to get supplies, and then all of a sudden there's this little girl, and you don't see her face.
I'm done playing with this one.
And then all of a sudden she turns around.
You wanna play with me now?
And she's a freaking vampire. That freaked me out.
I think that's kind of an exciting, fresh take on things.
Real vampires, actual monsters, scary monsters, blood everywhere. No Coldplay on the soundtrack. For like almost a year, we were kind of assaulted with this strange viral campaign of what is this movie about?
The original teaser trailer was on the first Transformer when it came out, so obviously everyone and their mother saw it. And it, you know, it didn't say the name of the movie, it just said it was a J.J. Abrams production.
Number 6.
Cloverfield might be the first movie that was a hit because people wanted to know what it was.
The cool thing about Cloverfield is that it's all told from the perspective of this handheld video camera.
I love the film because the first 17 minutes of the movie completely focus on the character development of these two brothers and this going away party for one of the brothers.
Care on your trip to Japan. It's gonna be great.
Good luck. Oh, your ex-girlfriend showed up. I thought, oh no. Oh no!
Horror movie. Ah!
Then the blackout and the tremor.
What the hell was that? Oh.
And we see that shot in the background of all of New York City, the lights going out.
Right then, we have literally complete chaos happening within downtown New York City. And we don't know where it's coming from.
All of a sudden, you see something crash and burn, and you see this, you know, these flames going off in the distance. And chaos on the street.
People running, clouds of ash.
I don't think you can beat that shot with the Statue of Liberty. It's one big, iconic thing everybody knows. Rolling down the street, really got that sense of weight.
Instead of people trying to get the hell out of there, they start videotaping with their phones and, like, you know, taking photographs. It's nuts. But that's what we're like in New York.
The disaster happens. Film it.
So no one knows what's happening, what's going on, and it's this giant freaking monster
going on a rampage, destroying Manhattan.
Orphan's just a giant creature movie, and then what makes it interesting? The point of view camera.
And that shot just down the street, where you could sort of see this thing flailing around, but yet the entire building's falling around.
Cloverfield takes the found footage idea and then does it as a big budget movie, and it's one of the few, if only, movies that have ever done that.
We're in for Godzilla from the ground, you know? Somebody's video camera.
Cool. Cloverfield is Godzilla.
It's what the remake of the Godzilla film should have been.
That, it has been said, was a reaction to the nuclear attacks on Japanese cities. Cloverfield could be said to be a reaction to the 9/11 attacks.
The most terrifying event of our lifetime.
One of the best scenes in Cloverfield was actually sort of a swipe from the Godzilla remake. They took one of the worst ideas from that movie and turned it into one of the best scenes in Cloverfield, the little baby monsters, you know, the parasite things.
The fleas.
You love those.
It's like spider raptors.
Oh, can you hear us? They were like fleas. It's like, this creature is from another planet, dirty. Don't come to our planet and give us your vermin.
One of the scariest scenes is when they decide to take a shortcut through the subway tunnel.
Subway tunnels in horror movies are never good.
Subway tunnels are already creepy. Yeah, never go down a subway tunnel in a scary movie.
Right.
Just guaranteed you're gonna get attacked by something.
And they turn the night vision on.
The cube monster's scary, but check out this spider beast. He's sucking on your face, and now things aren't so good for you.
It just scared the crap out of me.
It's great.
And I also found it to be a very touching love story.
There's this romantic quality to the movie. I mean, it's really about this guy going on a mission to save his girlfriend.
Girls are always the problem.
She's stuck in the Time Warner building in her apartment, and her frickin' lover, her boyfriend, shows up to save her, which is nuts.
And the military is escorting everyone out of here. Let's go.
Nope.
Why?
I've got an ex-girlfriend.
All right,
that
I'll go
I
with
might
you.
have a chance with.
Fine, let's get her. Real quick, though, and then let's leave.
Okay, she's up in that building.
The one that's leaning against another building? That doesn't seem dangerous to crawl to the top of and jump across.
Leave your camera on.
All right, let's go.
I thought that was crazy, too. But you know what? If all hell's gonna break loose and we've got Godzilla in our city, you better go after and try to save the people you love, because you're gonna probably die anyway.
Coming up next.
Injected with rage, suffering,
red-eyed,
ravenous.
Daddy, please don't let the monsters get me. You gotta promise.
When we return with Chiller 13.
I blame the animal rights people.
It is the animal rights people that started this whole horror film.
The animal rights activists are like, hey man, we're crunchy animal rights activists and we're letting these chimpanzees loose. 28 days later, the world's pretty much over.
Number 5.
So then, all of a sudden, the camera opens up on Jim, and he's there, lying in a hospital bed.
In an empty hospital.
Hello? The main character wakes up from a coma to find that pretty much all of England has been rampaged by this infection.
There's nothing there. It's like so desolate.
They did such a good job of getting that the world is over, the world is gone.
It sets the tone for the rest of the movie because it really kind of sets you off kilter, you know, right away.
I love when he's, wandering out after he's woken up and he wanders into the church. When he first sort of encounters the zombies.
Hello?
And just that moment of, oh wait, oh there's people here. Oh my God, no.
Butter.
So we walk into this church, and this is already starting to feel a little bit uneasy.
And the first person that attacks him is the one person that's supposed to protect you.
The first sort of zombie attack we see really is that priest.
Okay.
And then he grabs something and bashes the priest. Which was awesome.
Right, it's pretty
because
cool.
You're like, wait a second, you're not supposed to hit the clergyman like that.
He's a man of the cloth.
You don't do that. And then he feels really bad about it, but he's like, what was I supposed to do? There was something wrong with it.
That idea that you're on your own, and you're not only just on your own, by yourself, you're on your own, and there's everything looking for you to eat you. That's as scary as it gets.
And then it turns into this frantic chasing, because it's also where you realize, oh my God, these things can catch you. I mean, they're fast.
The zombies in 28 Days Later are vicious. They go after, they run after you, they rip you apart.
They're not slow zombies, they're fast zombies.
Sprinting is slobbering,
injected with rage, suffering,
red-eyed,
ravenous zombies.
They're full speed. They're trying to feast on you. And so they're coming.
These things are fast.
I go back and forth whether the zombies should run or the zombies should walk. You know, dead is dead.
When it came out, there was no such thing as fast zombies like that.
By being infected, by being not quite zombies, you got to have people that acted like zombies, but were much faster.
Yeah.
Like, because the usual zombie thing is that they do the slow zombie walk.
Brain.
And these zombies were just booking it.
Yeah.
You know?
So fast.
They're fast and they're brutal and they have all their strength still.
In most zombie movies, there's always some safe haven where surely the military has food and water,
protection,
and gates and protection for us. We've got to get there.
So these group of survivors think their best bet is to get out of London and get to where these soldiers are.
Now it's a road picture.
So they have to go through the tunnel to leave the city.
A tunnel.
Which is a terrible idea.
They've already seen zombies.
So they know that the zombies could possibly be dwelling in this tunnel.
The tunnel scene 28 Days Later is scary because it's the rare scene where either of their options could get them killed.
Don't go through a tunnel. Just stay away from dark, scary places because you're going to get attacked.
Oh, I know what we'll do. We'll just go over all this ripped up metal and broken glass on our rubber tires. What the? Hey, wait. We have a flat tire.
Oh. That's a good move.
World's worst place to get a flat, huh?
It's a very suspenseful scene where they're trying to change a tire as the infected, I think, approach.
It's scary because you see all these guys running and they have the motor skills that traditional zombies don't.
Get the tire off, Hannah, come on! Come on! Get up!
They're not technically zombies because they're alive. They're not undead.
A lot of people like to call it a zombie film. I know a lot of people who won't call it a zombie film. They call it an infection film.
They're very much alive. They just have this insane infection.
They refer to them as the infected. And I think that's a really cool twist on, not saying zombies, saying the infected.
I mean, there are some people who say it's not a zombie movie, but for sake, it's a zombie movie.
It's a zombie apocalypse.
And we now consider, this kind of plague story as a zombie story. The genres are constantly evolving anyway.
I thought the film was brilliant.
Probably the best zombie movie out there.
Very, very good execution of a lot of classic formulas, but done in a very modern and hip way.
Well, we've certainly never seen anything like it. It's that horrible moment of hopelessness. You've killed everybody you love, and you're waiting to die.
Come on!
Wow, all is lost. This is the worst it can get.
No more rules.
And then to have all that turned on you.
Number 4.
So the movie starts out in this rural town where this huge thunderstorm has just rolled through. So this guy takes his kid to the store to get some supplies.
And then we're all together in the supermarket, and that's where the movie begins.
So this guy's in the supermarket with his kid and a whole bunch of other people, and then this mist rolls in.
But the question is, what's in the mist?
It was an entire ecosystem that had been thrust upon this town.
We find out what's in the mist are these horrible, hideous creatures.
All of these otherworldly animals were all of a sudden unleashed. First monsters you see really with just the tentacles when they go back to the loading dock and they're trying to get the electricity on.
So then Norm, right, the bad
Norm,
kid.
you knew when you saw him.
He wasn't quite
He wasn't long for this world.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, Norm, grew up in this small town, presumably, and doesn't have a lot going for him in terms of exciting moments in his life.
Hey, I didn't say that.
And I feel like turning on the generator was gonna really be a big thing for him.
I wanna go.
So he's like, I know what, just open up the loading dock just a little bit, let me sneak out.
This was Norm's moment, and Norm really wanted to seize this moment.
It was my idea.
No problem.
No problem, I'll do it.
Open it away.
Don't do it, Norm.
But I have to.
Don't do it, Norm.
Come on.
I'm doing it, says Norm.
Let's rock.
And then he gets grabbed by the tentacles.
And he's being pulled towards the door.
Pulling Norm under there. Bad move, Norm.
Poor kid. you know, gets dragged away.
You got to give it to him. He really gave it his all, and then promptly died.
That paranoia that they create just inside a supermarket is fantastic.
Where we're now on guard, watching for these misty creatures, and it starts to affect everyone else in the room, and they start to go a little crazy, where everyone is fending for themselves.
Now you're dealing with two sets of monsters. You know, there's monsters in the supermarket and in the mist.
The young boy of our main character, he's just really going through it. He's missing his mom, he's freaked out by all these monsters. You can already tell he's got monster issues, probably has nightmares at night. Yeah. This isn't gonna help that at all. He says, promise me that you're not gonna let the monsters get me.
Daddy, please don't let the monsters get me. You gotta promise.
Best promise.
We have to get out of here.
It plays out in the worst possible way because they're making their escape, right? What's the plan, Darren? Let's drive until we run out of gas.
Right. We've got to be able to get out of this mist.
We can do it. We'll just run right out of it.
They drive off and they're trying to get clear of the mist.
And then we run out, but guess what? I managed to rescue the gun. I've got the gun.
It's at the end of the movie, and he's decides to kill everybody except himself in order to prevent them from dying from the craziness of what's out in the mist.
I'm gonna protect my son from monsters. How can I do that? I'm gonna kill him so he doesn't have to deal with this horrific monster attack.
Take him out of the equation.
But they only have 4 bullets, and there's 5 of them.
What are we gonna do?
Wait.
The short story for The Mist just doesn't really have an ending. It just kind of, like a lot of Stephen King stuff, just kind of ends on an ambiguous note.
It was like the ultimate downer ending, but I think it totally worked for the movie. It's so heavy and so depressing.
It was an awful ending.
It elicited an immediate
sock in the gut,
punch in the stomach.
The worst pit in your stomach.
Sophie's Choice got nothing on The Mist.
So the son's sleeping in the front seat, and then all of a sudden he's all, what? Daddy? And he's all, cut to the shot of the car, and then you hear,
and you got to kill the kid first. Yeah.
And you're like, no. And then he has a holy roller breakdown, like nothing else. Lets it all out.
And it's a classic man scream.
Oh my God. Just keeps going and things just get worse and worse.
So the ending of The Mist, it's very agonizing.
It's pam, 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 done.
You kill your own kid and all the people and the tanks roll in.
The moment that the mist starts to disappear after he's done this murder, it just, like, my heart dropped.
They were just this close to being saved.
If he had only waited
2 more minutes.
90 seconds.
Another minute.
When you see those tanks break through the mist, it is just heart-wrenching.
Oh, but it's so awesome.
It is. It really is great.
That ending, it takes a lot of guts.
Coming up next,
I didn't see it. I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know.
when we return with Chiller 13.
These 2 guys wake up in this dingy bathroom.
You've never seen a theatrical Hollywood movie open up on such a dirty, dank place. And you're not just there for a few minutes and then you're off somewhere else. You're there, and the movie rubs your face in it.
Number 3.
When the first Saw came out, I was just like, that's crazy.
You know, I hardly had my eyes open for the first movie.
It's 2 guys trapped in a bathroom. You're like, okay, well, I guess that'll work.
The first Saw really kicked off a big boom. I don't know if it's the movie that's responsible for it, but it's a movie that really at the very beginning became the first kind of like, whoa, horror is successful again.
It's something new. And 2 guys in a bathroom has spawned easily the decade's most lauded, most successful, most memorable, most genre-important franchise.
Saw was respectable and respected because of its cleverness.
Saw is such a clever movie. It is a brilliant movie.
I definitely hadn't seen a horror movie like Saw before.
In the first film, you don't really learn who Jigsaw is.
Jigsaw was a villain.
He's a bad boy, for sure. but he's got interesting qualities.
Who believed in his warped mind that he was helping people.
Who has taken the time to set all these things up and then to choose the people in life that he thinks are deserving of being tortured. That's pretty deep.
Here's what happens if you lose. The device you're wearing is hooked into your upper and lower jaws. When the timer in the back goes off, your mouth will be permanently ripped open. Think of it like a reverse bear trap.
So he's complicit by, just an act of omission.
Yeah, Jigsaw's whole thing is that he wants to make people appreciate their lives while they're alive.
He really wanted you to live, and you could live.
You better hurry up. Live or die. Make your choice.
You might not look so great afterwards, but you could live. And that, to me, I think, is part of what made Saw so original.
There's a morality to it that the guy who was doing it was trying to say something positive in his own demented way.
And the punishments are just the bonus. They wake up in the device. That's how we get to know them. And then we find out all the things that they did wrong while they're trying to get out of this situation.
And he's giving them the opportunity to really take those moments before they die or get out of the trap to say, wow, let me think about it.
Congratulations, you are still alive. Most people are so ungrateful to be alive, but not you. Not anymore.
The way that they get tortured, they learn a lesson.
It was like a puzzle.
And every person is a piece of it.
That part is really more scary, that someone took that much time to set up this amusement park just for his viewing and just for his fun. That's a little sick.
Yeah, it is sick and twisted, but it's a horror film, it's gonna happen.
And then, once the movie's now going and we're trying to find this sort of mad serial killer of sorts, we also get introduced to this creepy, masky, spiral-cheeked clown thing. Puppet thing. And then, if it wasn't creepy enough...
It's riding a tricycle.
Okay, and it's got Waylon and Madam cheekbone.
Yeah.
The whole thing, the voice behind it.
Congratulations.
The minimal mouth movement of the puppet.
That's disturbing.
It is really disturbing.
Puppet on a tricycle.
It's almost like that's the face of Jigsaw. It's a very iconic image in horror films now.
That movie was just an awesome ride, and the entire time creepy and scary.
I think it's probably the most important horror movie of the decade. Not necessarily the best, but the most important.
So this nice little couple are living in a house. Seems like everything's fine, but it turns out this woman is plagued by an evil spirit.
Number 2.
It's the perfect teen popcorn movie because every teenager is playing and shooting stuff with their own little, video phones. So of course the idea of capturing a demon in your own home is freaky.
It plays on just the most basic fear. It doesn't rely on special effects, it doesn't rely on monsters. It's just about things that go bump in the night, and that's, I think, what makes it so awesome and so relatable.
This movie was so frightening without any major special effects.
Almost all the scares in the movie are very subtle. It's a movie made for almost no money.
And you can make really effective scares with no money.
I was really proud of a filmmaker being able to shoot something that made such an impact on a limited budget. That's fantastic.
I'm not going there again. I'm not going there.
What you can do is put a camera on a doorway and make an audience wait and let them know that something's gonna happen, but really play with when it happens and how it happens.
When you're watching it, it works because it starts so minimally. It's just a noise or a light turning on, and it just builds and builds.
The less you see, the better off you are.
A lot of it was off screen, and for once, I was using my imagination.
2 people, 1 camera, and it feels like it's really shot from him. Feels like the whole movie is just in that camera. That alone was brilliant.
I think one of the cool things about Paranormal Activity is the way that it takes even just something like time code on a screen and makes that terrifying. It'll fast forward a lot through the night, and then when the time code would slow down, you know that something's about to happen. So just watching the numbers was terrifying.
That anticipation was very nerve-wracking, and you really get the audience under your control as a filmmaker, and I think that's what the movie did very well. It set up all these subtle little things that when the big things happen, you were completely not prepared for it.
First, you're like, oh, I'm watching found footage, I'm watching, And then you get really pulled into it and it feels intensely personal.
And for a guy that had never made a movie before, that he understood that better than half the people that have ever made a haunted house movie is, to me, is phenomenal.
And then the hauntings begin.
And I think that's what people really got scared of, was the fact that things were moving, nothing was there.
We have the boyfriend who's like, I don't really believe it, but let's go ahead and, capture it on videotape anyway.
So his girlfriend's, oh no, don't do it. And the boyfriend's like, well, let's just get him on tape. Let's just try one more time.
Typical guy thing to do.
He's the ghost enabler.
Yes.
He encourages the ghost. All they need to do is just leave the ghost alone, but this is the guy that's going around going like, come out, show yourself!
Yeah.
Which is never a good idea.
He doesn't know what he's up against. He thinks it's nothing and just a figment of her imagination, so he's being a tough guy.
What? What do you want?
And what does he do? He messes.
If you lay out powder and you wake up and there's demon footprints next to your bed, you don't go to bed the next night.
She gets more and more terrified, and the guy thinks this is pretty cool, but he's also scared, and then he gets that Ouija board.
No, he broke the rules there.
It's just a board with a little moving piece. There's no rules, there's nothing.
You shouldn't have done it.
Don't bring the Ouija board.
He was told not to.
Don't try and communicate with this thing.
I was always told not to play the Ouija board, and to this day, I've never touched a Ouija board.
There are certain things that if it happens in your house, you leave.
I think the scariest parts of the movie are the stuff we don't see. I mean, I know it sounds like a cliche, but for that one, I think it's really effective. It scared the shit out of me when I saw it.
That last scene is pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
Where she climbs up the stairs. It feels like it lasts an hour and a half, just her footsteps coming up the stairs.
You hear the boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's not her anymore. Like she's been possessed.
And then he gets thrown at the camera.
And then it's over, and you're like, God, and I have to go home with that, and I have to sleep with that in my body. It's frightening. Oh God, I love it.
I said to my wife, I'm like, you can never see that movie because it will scare the hell out of you.
The person I was watching with, it was too frightening to go on.
I had to close my eyes at the end, so everyone tells me like, you're such a chicken, like the end part where she comes up to the screen. I'm like, I didn't see it. I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know. Because I was like, oh my God, what's gonna happen?
Coming up next,
The scariest movie that I have seen over the past 10 years.
the #1 scary movie of the decade. When we return,
For my money, the scariest movie that I have seen over the past 10 years.
#1.
It proved that you could have a PG-13 horror movie but still be really scary.
It came out at a time where we weren't getting a lot of horror movies.
The Ring was terrifying.
The Ring is amazing.
It's definitely the best of the Japanese remakes.
First of all, the original, scary. But this Ring, The Ring, scared me to pieces. First of all, I don't want to go anywhere near a well.
I loved what was in the Japanese film, but I thought that the American film focused some of the abstractness of the Japanese one.
Japanese horror, they just have a different approach to it.
And I assume that in Japan that there is a national kind of consciousness that accepts a certain amount and wants a certain amount of unanswered ambiguousness.
Don't explain what's scary. Because if you explain what's scary, then you're taking away the mystery.
Everything about that movie is very bleak, and I think that was really fresh for its time.
The way they create like an atmosphere of the unknown and disorientation being like the key in scaring you. It's like, what the hell am I seeing right now?
Just right from the city, doesn't seem quite right. You're never quite sure where it is. You're always very uncomfortable.
There was this idea set up that like you're gonna die in 7 days, and it was kind of this race against time. She has 7 days to figure out if she can stop this or not.
Naomi Watts, like her whole purpose in the movie was to find out what was happening before her time was up, and also for her son's time is up. Gives the movie a very hectic pace. You only have a certain amount to like find out what is going on before you're dead.
And you kind of go on that journey with her. And I think that made you a very kind of proactive audience member.
The video that was seen throughout the film, it was so scary.
When you watch the video, you're already like, if they show it in the movie, I might not want to watch it as an audience member.
Because it's cursed, you guys!
Before the main character sits down and watches the videotape of all the bizarre images, I actually paused it, thinking, oh God, here we go. Do I really want to see this?
It doesn't look right. There's something wrong about it. It's all black and white.
Oh, and old
there's
timey.
dead horses.
And then there's meadows.
Yeah, and there's a fly.
Oh God.
A woman combing her hair in the mirror.
Random things that are just bizarre and awkward, very unsettling feeling.
Haunting yet painterly images make a stark impression on your brain.
It's horrible, and then you look and you're like, okay, that's not so bad, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's bad.
There is a set of rules that are set up in the ring. You watch it, you slowly go insane, and then at a specific moment after you've watched the film, you have then been killed by the subliminal message that is printed in the movie.
What could possibly happen?
And then you look so deeply at that video, and it goes by quickly, and you try to absorb all of it, and all of it is freaky.
Yeah. I definitely felt that with the snow too. For weeks after, when there was snow on a TV, I would quickly turn it off because I didn't want to die.
Right.
And when we see that wide shot coming back and we see that the well is the ring.
And then you die.
Whatever
The
happens.
last thing you see is
The ring.
And the last thing she saw was
a horse eye.
Wait.
A wonderful setup of this ghostly little girl, this malevolent spirit.
The hair coming down in the face like that and not knowing quite what's behind it.
Like that girl, like it's Donnie Darko's little sister, and you don't expect her to be creepy, and there she is coming out the well, coming out the TV and killing you.
That little girl held up all the way down the line. And it wasn't just Rick Baker's great makeup, it was also the cinematography, and it was Verbinski's direction, and it was that cool effect that we had not seen before of a staticky kind of video quality to her.
It was weird as hell. But then on top of it, we're watching a TV and she comes through the damn thing.
Oh, man.
And she's waterlogged.
That's awesome. The water starts pouring out.
And you have that creepy, jerky movement that Samara does. It happens so fast.
And it skips. She'll be closer than you thought she was going to be. She just walked forward at you.
She was just evil. There wasn't this, well, it's because that she, nope, was always evil. And just there's nothing you can do about it, and it's a terrible thing. We have to get rid of her.
That moment where she comes out broke the fourth wall for me. Every time I would turn on the TV with a scary movie on, I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna crawl out of the TV. Like, they're gonna come get me.
Very simple and effective horror, because it's just the sight of her standing there is frightening.
The Ring is the film that scared me the most.
As a scary movie, lover, I thought it was amazing. I thought it was brilliant.
Good bloodshed is always fun to watch.
It's just the thrill and the gore and the blood. Brutal, bloody. I like the blood, guts. Nothing's too gory for horror.
It's the adrenaline rush. So you can cuddle with your boyfriend. You can pretend you're scared.
I like when she jumps on me with the scary part though.
Freak out, grab her.
I scared all my friends when I show up at their house.
It was terrifying.
I don't really like scary movies a lot, but I still go and see them.
Zombies, man, zombies.
I just like being scared.
Scary movies get me.
It's not something I